All right. Thanks, Sagar, for letting me know. Can you just tell me now if there is audio or not? Hopefully, there should be an audio. But if not, let me know and I'll try to see how I can fix it. Uh, Anyways, so as I was saying, we're gonna build an app, a restaurant recommendation app that I've been thinking for a while, and it's gonna be pretty chill, pretty low key. We're gonna try to build it together. So over here, I have the documentation open for open Mapbox, but I'm gonna come to this later on. The first thing we want to do is create a new Cloudflare project. Uh, Before I jump into that, I just want to make sure if my audio is still like if I'm still audible or not. So if someone in the chat can let me know if you can hear me, that would be fantastic. All right. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try to open my stream in a tab and just check it myself, just to make sure that we are doing fine. Because I remember in one of my streams, I did not share the correct page, and throughout the string, I was talking about something. I was building something, and then we ran into an issue where nothing was actually getting visible to the audience. All right. Okay. Now I can see, I can hear myself. That's great. Gonna come back to our screen over here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the npm create Cloudflare command, and this time I'm gonna call this restaurant recommendation apps. I'm just gonna call it restaurant recom. It's gonna give me a couple of options. I want to use the framework starter, and I will go with React router and just say yes. I am a huge Remix/React router kind of a fan. I have been using that for a while, and I love the mental model that I don't know if I should say remix, but I would say remix because that's how I got the mental model for. So I love the mental model that remix provides out of the box, and I've been enjoying building apps with remix for a while. Remix is kind of transitioning to React Router V7, which is kind of makes sense. So I'm going to select that. We want to use version control. We don't want to deploy our application yet. So I'm going to go ahead and select no. Now let's go ahead and into a restaurant recommendation app and open it in Windsurf. Let's do that. In the last live stream, I was trying this with, I think, Cursor, but in this one, I'm going to use Windsurf. Been trying to play around with different AI tools or AI code editors. All right, let's switch the theme. Can I do live theme? Oh, perfect. All right. So a couple of things that I want to go through. Again, this is like the Wrangler configuration file where I can define what products I want to use. We're already using observability, which is enabled by default. You can disable it, but it's for me, I've found this to be good that it's enabled by default so that I have all the logs available in my dashboard. Now you can do a lot of different things over here. We're going to look into it when we start using the database. I wanted to check what plugin it uses. It does use the Cloudflare Vite plugin, which is great. This is what I wanted it to do. So I think we're good to go. I'm going to go to app and right. So one of the reasons I wanted to make sure that we are using the Cloudflare Vite plugin is because now I can have my worker logic or my worker app in here. So let's just say you want to use durable objects. You can put in the code for the durable objects in here and still have your React application sitting in the app directory. So you can have your worker code which is very specific to Worker, but your front end application as well in just one single repo. And I have been using this for a side project called hirejuniors.dev. It's built on React Router, which uses Cloudflare Vite plugin, and it uses workflows, which is again like a Cloudflare product, which allows you to write step functions in a way that it handles persistency, it handles the retry mechanism, and it's super nice to build such. I don't want to use the word automation, but I'm going to use the word automation, such automations. So I have workflows in that, and those workflows get triggered almost every 10 days. And then again, the front end is served with React. Cool. Okay. We're gonna start the app just to see what we have in here. So let's just do npm run dev. It should open up on 5173, which is fair enough. This is like the basic React application or the React Router application that we get. And we want to update this, and we want to build basically a restaurant recommendation app. Now, one thing I want to check over here is developer generate color theme. No. Yep. Okay. I'm gonna try to go to advanced and see. So what I want to do is I want to pass in the llm.txt files. Do I have to do it in Cascade? I know I can do this in Cursor. I did that in Cursor. I don't know how do I do this in here. I'm just gonna search the internet. Windsurf txt file. Chat again. Let me know if you have done this something similar with Windsurf. If you have used Windsurf, if not, I'm still interested to know like which code editor you are using nowadays. I don't want to use this. Not really helpful. How do I add it? Let's see if we can find something in here. I already have Windsurf. If I go to resources. Oh, there's a docs. Let's check the docs. I'm gonna try to search the docs. I hope it has something over there. Right, I'm gonna try to look once more, and then we're just gonna skip this and start talking to Windsurf and hope that it would work. All right, local indexing, remote indexing. That's not what we want. There are rules, which is fine. I don't want the rules. Okay, I don't see the option where I can add this easily. Just gonna text pinning. There is at the rate mentions, which is fine. Yeah, no, never mind. Just gonna skip this for now. We'll come back to it later on. So let's go back to editor and start talking with it. Can I? No. Okay. Just one more try. Never mind. All right. Can you create? I am creating a restaurant recommendation app. It uses the Mapbox search API. Search for restaurants. It uses the Mapbox search API to search the restaurants. What I really wanted to do now is the app should search for the restaurant. Using the Mapbox API, the app should search for the restaurant. What we want to do next? And let's just return top 5 results. And then this should, let's open up a modal where the user can put in a bit more information maybe. All right. I know this is not so good to say, but I feel it would be a good start with this prompt. And while it is doing, giving us that generating things for us, I like this. It's asking me to create a D1 uh, database. Yes, the command looks correct. So I'm going to execute. Obviously, that's not found. It should have been in PX instead. Perfect. So let's do this. Mhm. All right, I see. Mm, Now I have different accounts over here, and that is why I am getting this prompt. If you don't have like different accounts, you should be fine with this. You don't really need that. Uh, all right, it automatically decided it wants to use an account. I don't know which account it did. So I'm gonna come here and check. Uh, which account are you using, my friend? I don't want you to use that account. And I honestly don't know if this would work. So just gonna go ahead with this one. I'm gonna do accept, but I'm gonna replace this. I'm gonna save this. And now I'm going to accept this. I've personally not done this, but surprisingly, this works. So something I learned. So if you have an account on the ID in your Wrangler file, it is always going to use that account for an application. That's a good learning. All right, so it created a database for us. Now it is editing our Wrangler file. So basically, adding it, adding the bindings to our Wrangler file, and it is also creating a schema, which is good. So it has an ID, a store name, an address. Uh, all right, we can have the address. Recommender name. Yeah, that would be good. A recommendation text. Okay, and then it was created. All right, I kind of like this, and now it wants to apply the schema. So I'm going to click accept. It was able to apply this. This is good. Now, one thing I feel it should have done is it should only create the table if it does not exist. It does not need to drop the table if it really exists. Uh, but that's still fine, I guess. Ooh. Alright, so now it is using the Search.js, Mapbox Search.js React package, which is not what I want. Headless UI React, hero icons React. I was thinking more of just making a call to the API rather than using the package. And I still want to do that, so I'm going to reject this. Hmm. Make the call to the API. Don't use the package. All right. Without using the React package, that is what we want. And it says it's going to create this three components. Cool. So I like how like AI is doing most of the work for me. Again, not everything, but most of it. And I've wanted to try this. So super happy how this is going so far. Mm-hmm. All right. While that is happening, already did some stuff. I'm gonna wait for it to finish. I still wanna find a way to see if there is, a good possible method to add my llm.txt files. Editor settings, advanced settings pages. This is the text editor. This is what we want. Uh, uh, uh. Right. So it says it has created two main components, the main page and then the API endpoint. Okay. The Mapbox API is called directly using the fetch API. You will need to add your Mapbox access token to provide, and you to use this app, add your Mapbox access token. I will do that. Start the development server. Type the restaurant. Wait. So it's kind of build the whole app for me. That's nice. Let's see. We will quickly walk through this. Mm, using the Mapbox access token, search results. Just making a post request to API/recommend. All right. Has a couple of things in there. Has a form. Okay, and in here, I'm going to accept this. This is should not be coming in for Cloudflare worker types. This should be, I think, VX router. No. Okay, I need to check where this is exactly coming in from. All right, and these are like TypeScript errors. Okay, I'm gonna wait for it. I'm gonna wait for them to get. All right, and here as well there was this. This is again not coming in from Cloudflare, but we are not using this. I think so. I'm gonna remove it. Save this. I'm gonna now try to run the app. Oh, it's already running. So let's go back to our app, refresh it. Uh-huh. I did not see any updates. I'm gonna go in here. Wait, it has routes, it has welcome, which is not needed. I'm gonna check the route.ts file. It should be routes home.tsx, which is why it's not doing that. All right, so we figured out the problem. Over here in the routes.ts file, we are specifying home as our index, which is not correct. So we're gonna do index.tsx. We don't need home.tsx anymore, so we can remove that. We also don't need welcome, so we can remove that. And this should try to run the development server once again. All right, so we have the UI over here. The search functionality is not going to work because we haven't added the API key, and I am going to do that off screen. I don't feel like sharing my API keys on the live stream. Though it's I think it's like it's like a default API key that I can change. But to be on a safer side, let's do this. Alright, so what I have done is I have copied the API key. I've created a .dev.where's file, pasted in the API key in there, and that's it, I guess. One thing I am also going to do is, because I need to make sure that I am doing this correctly. It's going to add another value as an environment variable. I'm going to call it debug value because I don't remember exactly how would I reference this. All right, so in my index the tsx file. Wait, but why is it making a call in here? This is not correct because in API. Wait, now I'm confused. So I thought that it would be basically making an API call to our api.recommends.ts file, but it is not doing that. Click remind, fill in your name. Okay, wait. So the main page component, search input for restaurants, display of search results, a modal form for submitting the recommendations. The API input that handles post requests for new recommendations. Okay. So inside the index.ts file itself, it is searching for the restaurants. It is fine, I guess, for now. Uh, We did make that available. I don't know if that would work. Just gonna try out a few things. Um, nope. All right. I know we were referencing some values. Yeah. So this is what I want to do. I need to have a context, and within that context is where I can find the value. Hmm. Let's again try to use AI to do this for us. So over here, I'm just gonna ask should we not use loader function? So again, it's been a while that I have used Remix, but if I remember any kind of form submissions that you make, whether it be like a simple get thing or a post thing, I would use actions and loaders for that. And that's why I'm like, maybe you should use loaders instead of doing, within the function itself. And this is, I remembered this when I saw this, so I'm gonna try it out. So it's still, hmm, uh, it does not have the recent information. It does not look like it has all the recent context for React Router. I'm gonna still wait for it to finish and see what it does. All right, it is coming in from router, React Router. Mm-hmm. Okay, did it? Can I accept this? To accept this, and this. I'm still not very much convinced, to be honest. But yeah, let's see. One way to debug this is just log the context dot env dot. Now, this is something that I have added in myself. So let's check this. Cannot read property debug defined. All right, and if I do but the debug value is undefined for some reason. I don't know why. All right, let's check it real quick. I'm just going to take it off to another screen so that again I don't share my API keys. I'm gonna come back in here. It is debug value. Right now it is here. But it still says undefined. I don't know why. If I go back to my workers app.ts file, Cloudflare environment, it has things in here. Okay, does it have? Yeah. I think I know what the problem is. All right, I'm just gonna kill the server, clear out the screen, and I'm gonna do npm run preview. It starts at 4173. Okay, because that one was 5173. This is now 4173. And if we come back, we get the value. Yeah. So to recap why this happened, I remember it from my experience building with the other app. Is because the environment variable that we have set is set in context to uh, Wrangler or workers, and that is why when you start with npm run def, it does not really know that there is an environment variable that you need to access, and it cannot really access that value. So you need to do the preview thing to find that. So this is something that I still need to figure out why it happens and if there is a way to make it work without doing that. I'm pretty sure there should be a way of doing that. I, I I just need to ask the team now. I guess yeah, I'll do that. So post live stream. That's my task to do. Uh, Figure out how to do this with the current or the existing yeah flow. All right. So we now have the app. It should be basically working fine. I'm gonna search for a restaurant. One thing I also wanted it to do that I cannot do it right now, but hold on. Let's search for. Let me come back to my code. It's doing geocoding, which is not correct. So if I come back to our documentation real quick, it should basically be doing this. Right. So I'm gonna copy this URL and code this. All right, this is good. Paste or replace this here instead of this. Let's just do Q. No, it should be query, and this should be Q equals because that's the query coming in from our end user. And we don't have JSON. We don't need to pass JSON, I think. That's fine. Alright, so we don't need to pass that. And types POI. I don't really know what POI is. I'm just gonna go back again to documentation and see. Wait, what is POI? Alright, which is types POI, limited it to one or more types of features. But I do need a category, it should be restaurant and stuff. But again, I don't know how or what are the available options. So that is something we would have to check. Uh, let's see over here. Food and drink is like a good category. Okay. Is there a way that I can list all the categories? Uh, uh, uh. List categories. Do you provide me all the applies? Not really. But I'm just gonna try it out in my terminal to see if it does that. What categories would it provide? This is not pretty at all. This is a get request, right? Let's just call this in the browser itself so that we can do print pretty. And this is what I like. There is a name. Oh, all right. So there is food. There is restaurant. So I'm going to use restaurant. That's a better one. Mm, all right. So in here, instead of this, I'm going to do POI. What was it again? POI underscore category. And this is going to be a restaurant. Limit is 5. Access token. Now there is one other way. There is one thing as well. So it takes country as an input, as basically another parameter, and that is what I want to do. I want to get the country's input parameter, but I am not sure if I can get that. Let's try this. CTX and see if it provides us any context. Oh wait, I'll have to probably. I'm gonna refresh the page, come back over here. Yeah. So that is what I mentioned. That is what I meant when I talked about starting it with npm run dev versus npm run preview, because with preview I'll have to kind of run this command every time if I want to get the change, see the changes reflected live. Again, not a really fun experience. So yeah, something that we need to keep in mind. This is ctx dot. So what I'm trying to do is get the Cloudflare's context so that anytime a request is made to it, it would basically give me a raw context, which gives me like where it is getting served from, where this API call is being made. And so it would then also give me a country code. So let's see if I can find that real quick. How would I get that information? This is the execution context. This is what we want, I guess. Inside the request handler, we pass the request. The be in the CTX. We are not getting it from the Cloudflare context. Do we get it from the request? Oh yeah, request.cf. So now I can do a city, and it should also have country. Yep. Let's change this to how we want to call this city and country. Save this. Come back to our terminal. Restart our server, and hopefully this should work. Now refresh the page. It did not. We did not get the city of the country. But it has the CF context, so not sure why it does not get that. Trying to see what values do we have in here. Now again, this is something I've just trying it out. Not 100% sure if it is the correct way of doing it. All right. So this kind of did not really work the way I wanted to work. What I am thinking of doing, just trying to recall the app that I created earlier to see if it would work with that syntax that I had in mind. Mm, so yeah, returning this request handler, it should have the request going in, and then the Cloudflare as well. Huh. I'm thinking of two different ways to do it. Again, not sure if this has the best practices, but want to try out something. Country can be the request here to country, and then you can do city. Save this, come back in here. Instead of doing, I'm just going to remove this for now. So doing this, this is now coming in from context dot country and our city. Okay. In my head, it would work, but if it works in theory, if it actually works, I don't know. Let's refresh this, come back over here, and we get something. This is good. Now the city is not accurate, which is fine. I anyways want to get country information, so I can just do context dot country. We can do this, and over here, yeah, let's do country. It should, they need to update this as well. I don't want to do city, so I'm just going to skip that for now. And in here, I need to pass on the city. So country. But again, this is not the correct way of passing it. It should be just country. Perfect. So now I'm going to save this, restart my development server. Again, this is something I am sure is not the correct way of doing things. Just for building it right now, I'm going to do it this way. Now, when I enter a value, it should search for a restaurant and do something. So let's try that out. So I'm thinking of a name of a restaurant. I'm just gonna do one of my favorite Indian restaurants, but it feels like it just failed for some reason. So not good. Do I get any logs? Is there any internet? Oh, I should have opened it earlier, but never mind. It has this, but no information, which is weird. Mm, all right, let's go and check the docs, what it actually returns. Response as a type and then features. All right. Return object feature. See the table below for details on the properties contained by each feature object. All right, so there's a type, geometry. All right, properties. Okay, so it should be feature. It is an array which contains a properties object. Huh. Thank you, TypeScript. Or maybe I should say thank you, AI. The specific properties associated with the return feature. Just gonna ask AI to do this for me. Keep on, come back here. Alright, this is what I'm gonna do. Again, some AI coding here. Let's go. Contains information like name. We let's just do address. Alright, so the AI kind of got us someplace. Oh, that was. I could have just maybe passed on this object and it should have given me a better response. I don't know. Let's see. I'm gonna check keep all because now it has an ID. It does not really have an ID. So I'm gonna remove the ID. Properties. Yeah, we don't have ID. But now search result is complaining. Why? Because it is referencing ID somewhere. I don't see that. Ah, because of this type. And now there is another error somewhere. So I cannot find apparently. Anyways, I'm just gonna save this. Come back. Start my server again. It's up and running. And let's switch the tabs. Refresh this and search for a restaurant. Alright, so we get the restaurant. Let's try out another one. I'm just trying to think of a common name. Let's do Noodle House. Now there are different noodle houses. We get them in here. Looks good. What I can do now is click on recommend. Now where it takes to open up, it opens up this model. I'm gonna say Harshil, your recommendation. Try out the fried noodles with tofu. Click on submit, and there was an error to say that fails this, and I think I know the reason why. Now we are not having the ID for this, and if we come back over here, it should have be saving the ID if I'm not wrong. Not really. Okay, interesting. But what I want to do is map this with uh, the Open Maps ID. Okay, I see that it says that this endpoint is not found, which is kind of weird to me. I'm thinking, why do I need an endpoint for this? I can add it to my action function and it should do. Let's do this. Mm, okay. Now to streamline my thoughts, take a pause. Streamline the thoughts. Right. Okay. Hmm. This is. We're gonna use the action function to make this. Let's go ahead and tell AI to do that. There is no need to have a separate API route for post. Let's use the action function to ingest the data to a database. This is the first thing I wanted to do. So let's see. Let's see if it does that work for us. So basically what I wanted to do is, instead of having a separate API endpoint and having an action function in there, it should have that action function in here itself. So that's the first thing. The second thing I want to check is coming back to our Mapbox API and trying to find out an API key. Sorry, not the API key, but an ID. So this is a Mapbox ID. And I want to use this ID basically to store in my database. So anytime I want to reference it again or like get more information from the Mapbox API, I can use that ID to get that information. I'm looking also to see if it can provide some or any kind of an image, but it does not do that. So that's fine. We don't need that. I'm gonna copy this. Yes, okay, this looks good. It's still doing its work, so I'm gonna wait for it to do that. I like how I'd say 99% of this app is created by AI. We hardly did anything. Yeah, we don't want the city in here. Move this. It is trying to fix the lint errors. Gonna wait for a couple of more seconds to do that. The stretch goal for this would be to add authentication because I don't want like getting like attacked. People randomly making a request and then adding this adding recommendations autonomously. So what I can do is I can add turnstile to it, which would be interesting. Let's again taking one step at a time. This looks good. I this is this is not a change that is needed. I'm gonna reject this and wait. Why is it not? It should be JSON. Where it should be. I want to return JSON. What we were doing earlier. It should be JSON. In oh no, it did deprecate this. Did it? I did not. Okay. Just gonna go to the React router docs. React router v7. Stick with the docs. Let's see. Data loading. This this does not look good. Okay, framework mode. So I can just return the object and I don't have to do the JSON. No. Okay, that is interesting. But it's still generating. Wow, okay, okay. This is taking a lot of time. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not sure why it has this. So there's a reaction declared somewhere. Wait, what? This is Yeah, okay. I feel like if I had coded this by myself, it would have been much, much better. Because now I'm like trying to figure out what AI is really trying to do. Because some of it does not make sense at all. Like, why would you do it this way? Just weird for me to look into this. Uh, but I think generally we are good. We have the UI, we have the search functionality. The only functionality that is kind of left right now to do is create create this recommendation or create this function where we can input the data. I'm just gonna say keep all for now. Okay, again, this is not coming in from Cloudflare. This should be React router. We don't need this. Again, so we have the model in here. I don't know why we have this. It's wrong. We have the use loaded data. It should be use loaded data, right? We're not importing it anywhere. So let's import that. Import use loaded data. So that is fixed. And now in here we get the form data. We validate that. We send out a response. If it's incorrect, fetch the information, we add it to a database, save it. What update import? Yes. Right now, hopefully this should finally work. What I also want to do is have this page where I can just do, wait, I can just show all the recommendations. Let's do noodles, noodles house, noodle house. Why house? Like, is that really a thing? I don't know. Name, Harshil. This is fun. Submit. And something did happen, I think. I don't know. I don't see any response. So I'm gonna assume that it was a success, but we're not returning any value. hmm All right. Let's do one more thing. Create a page that fingers crossed. Let's see how it does. But again, good thing, bad thing, good thing, bad thing. It does most of the work. Most of the time, it does not do it accurately. We have to like go ahead and like fix things. Like for example, it created an API recommendation endpoint which was not really needed. We can do it within an action function in our index.ts file, which is the way I would do it. Uh, with what changes? Oh, nice. Okay, I like that it is now providing a change where we can just go ahead and view the recommendations. And if I come to recommendations page, it is getting all the recommendations and showing it on the page. All right, it's still generating, so I'm not gonna mess with it. Let's close the schema file. Let's close the Wrangler file. Let's close Windsurf settings. Not yet. One thing it should also do is it should have added the route in here for the recommendation page. Otherwise, I don't think it is going to work unless there is a different configuration that I'm not aware in React router. Let's preview, refresh this. We have the button now. Go in here, it does that, but it says the page could not be found. And while it is fixing this, I'm going to come back to in here and in routing. This is where you would specify how you want to route the files. Right, so the index, the other routes, and our AI did not do that for us, and now it did. So I'm gonna accept this. I am gonna accept this as well. Looks good. And now if I restart the server, come to our application in here, just gonna do a quick refresh, click on new recommendation, and we have that going in here. So if I go back to search, let's just now do checking. Just one in here, recommended again by me. The recommendation. Click on submit. Do view recommendation. We have it in here. The UX and the UI is not so good. Ideally, I would want it to show the recommendations by default in here, which you can fix. But again, not going to do it on the live stream today. And then have the search functionality, or maybe search for a new restaurant. Call it that. You can search for that, display that, and do that. All right. But I think we have a good state for our application. Before I forget this, let me post it up on GitHub. I just don't want to add my account ID so that whenever you are using this, you don't have to worry about that. All right. Okay. Nothing else looks good. We are not committing a VRS file, which is good. Okay, let's do GitHub dot new, and I'm gonna say restaurant recommendation and just leave all as the default. I'm gonna copy this. What is this called again? Right, so we now have our app in here. I'm gonna paste the link in the chat. So if you want to build something like this by yourself, you now have the repository. You can use this, try it out, build it on top of this, or just open up a peer if you want to add or want to see more stuff for this application. Uh, the next steps would be to add, like, to fix the UX and then add some kind of security check. As I mentioned, I'm gonna try to add tone style. Let me open this. Cloudflare. So it's a capture placement solution. So an a user would have to verify themselves that they are the user. Kind of just a small way for me to make sure that it's not done by a bot. And yeah, I think that is what would be my next steps to fix the UX, add turn style, and a stretch goal would be to add some kind of authentication. But again, that's a stretch goal. You don't really have to do it, but might be fun to do it. So yeah, that was it for today's live stream. Let me know what you think about it and what you would want to see in the next one. Talking about the next one, hopefully next week I am doing a live stream almost every day of the week, starting from Monday to Friday. We have a developer week at Cloudflare, which is going to be a super interesting week. A lot of cool announcements, a lot of new features, a lot of new products coming out. So I'm going to try to cover as much as I can in that 1 hour of a live stream. Might build something, using the features and the products that are announced, or just go through the announcements, try to understand them better, and just share ideas. So that is what I am planning to do next week. So stay tuned and thank you for joining this one. And again, always happy to get your feedback. So let me know what you think about this live stream. And yeah, have a great rest of the week.